You sign the paperwork. You drive off the lot. You feel great. You made a big decision, maybe the biggest purchase of your life outside of a house. Now fast forward 18 months. Your car, brand new, still under warranty, still smells like the showroom, is worth less than half of what you paid for it. You owe your lender $40,000. The car is worth $22,000. You are trapped. Completely, financially trapped. This is not a rare story. This is happening to hundreds of thousands of people right now, in 2026. And most of them had absolutely no idea it was coming. Today, I'm going to make sure you are not next. Using data from iSeeCars, US News, Consumer Reports, and real transaction prices from across the country, I've identified 15 cars that have experienced catastrophic value destruction. Some losing 50%, 60%, even 80% of their value in under 2 years. Some of these cars are electrics. Some are luxury vehicles. Some are from brands you completely trust. And the number one car on this list? It didn't just depreciate. It became worthless in a way that the automotive industry has never seen before. Stay to the end, because number one will genuinely shock you. Let's go from bad to absolute financial disaster. Number 15. BMW iX. We open with BMW's flagship electric SUV, a vehicle that starts at over $87,000 and was supposed to represent the pinnacle of German EV engineering. Instead, the iX has become a $50,000 lesson in why a prestigious badge cannot protect you from the EV depreciation crisis. The iX sheds value at a rate that should alarm anyone considering one. Studies tracking used car transactions show losses well into the 50% plus range within 2 to 3 years, meaning someone who paid $90,000 for their iX is now watching it list for $43,000 on the used market. That's not depreciation. That's a financial amputation. How did BMW end up here? 2 words: inventory flooding. BMW aggressively chased the EV market, pushing iX units into dealerships faster than buyers wanted them. Then came the aggressive lease deals. $1,000 down, $700 a month, designed to clear inventory. Now those 2-year leases are maturing, dumping thousands of slightly used iX models onto a market that has no appetite for them. The styling hasn't helped. Those enormous kidney grills divide opinions so sharply that a significant portion of luxury buyers simply won't consider one, no matter the price. And there's no federal EV tax credit on the iX since it's imported, removing one of the key tools buyers use to justify premium EV purchases. A capable electric SUV, a catastrophic investment. Number 14. Ford F-150. Lightning. This one hits different, because we're not talking about a niche luxury product. We're talking about the electrified version of America's best-selling pickup truck. And it has lost roughly 47% of its value in under 2 years. On a $74,000 truck, that's $35,000 vanishing, gone. Here's why truck buyers walked away. Cold weather performance is genuinely alarming. One documented owner started a 37-degree morning with 149 miles of range. He drove 64 miles, not towing anything, just driving, and had only 37 miles of range remaining. He burned through 112 miles of charge, covering 64 miles of road. Towing is even worse. Hook up a 3,700-pound trailer and you'll burn through 90 miles of range in just 32 miles of driving. That's 3 times less efficient than driving unloaded. Traditional F-150 buyers, contractors, ranchers, tradespeople, need to tow things. They looked at those numbers and walked straight to the gas-powered F-150. Ford responded by halting Lightning production for months. Dealer lots filled up with 100 days of unsold inventory. And in a development that destroyed the final remnants of residual value confidence, Ford began seriously considering cancelling the Lightning entirely. When the manufacturer talks about killing the product, used values don't stabilise. They crater. And crater they have. Number 13. Dodge Hornet. The Dodge Hornet promised American muscle and delivered Italian confusion. Here's what Dodge actually did. They took an Alfa Romeo Tonale, gave it a different grille, stamped a Dodge badge on it, and called it a performance vehicle. Buyers who did their homework spotted the deception immediately. Those who didn't discovered it after purchase, and the financial damage was severe. The Hornet hemorrhages 51% of its value in under 2 years from an original price of just under $39,000. That's $20,000 gone from a car that was never worth what they charged. The electrical system is an absolute disaster. Owners report dashboards going completely blank mid-drive. Cruise control deactivates randomly. Alarms trigger without warning at 2 a.m. One documented owner had his Hornet die completely after 6 months. The dealership found 20 separate error codes simultaneously active. Another spent over a month at the shop across 4 visits, all for the same recurring electrical issue that was never properly resolved. Stellantis, Dodge's parent company, was sitting on 323 days of Hornet inventory at dealerships. Nearly a year of supply sitting unsold. When you have that much inventory that nobody wants, used values don't just fall, they collapse. Dodge loyalists felt betrayed. Smart crossover shoppers chose Honda and Toyota. The Hornet pleased nobody and is paying for it daily on the used market. Number 12. Lucid Air. The Lucid Air is, by virtually every objective measure, an extraordinary electric vehicle. The longest range of any EV on the market. Blistering performance. An interior that genuinely competes with Mercedes and BMW. And it has lost 54% of its value. An average of over $70,000 per vehicle, in the time it takes most people to finish paying off a 4-year car loan. $70,000. That's not a car payment. That's a second car. The problem is structural, not mechanical. Lucid is a startup, and in 2025 and into 2026, the used car market has developed a deep, justified skepticism about EV startups. Buyers watched Fisker collapse. They watched other ambitious electric companies burn through cash and disappear. They are not willing to pay premium prices for a used vehicle from a company they're not sure will exist to supply parts in 5 years. Meanwhile, Lucid keeps cutting prices on new models to boost sales, and every new price cut instantly devalues every used Lucid on the market. Buyers who paid full price in 2022 and 2023 have watched their investment dissolve in real time. The Lucid Air deserves a better fate. The market has decided otherwise. Number 11. Alfa Romeo Giulia. There is no car on this list more heartbreaking than the Alfa Romeo Giulia. It is, without question, one of the most beautiful sedans ever built. The driving dynamics, when everything is working, are genuinely addictive. It's the kind of car that makes you feel something every time you get behind the wheel. The problem is, getting behind the wheel requires the car to be running. And with the Giulia, that's not always guaranteed. Owners report more service appointments than oil changes. Electronic throttle failures. Engine computers that brick themselves with no warning. Random limp mode activations that leave you crawling along the highway at 20 miles per hour. The horror stories accumulate in owner forums faster than mechanics can address them. The result? 54% depreciation from an original price of around $51,000. Trade-in values fluctuate wildly. Identical 2024 models with similar mileage can differ by $12,000 or more, depending on which dealer you approach, because no one can agree on what a used Giulia is actually worth. Here's the ultimate indignity. The Giulia competes directly with the BMW 3 Series, the Mercedes C-Class, and the Audi A4. All 3 of those vehicles have better long-term reliability reputations and significantly stronger resale values. The Giulia has to be priced thousands below its German rivals just to get considered, and it still loses faster. Beautiful, heartbreaking, financially devastating. Number 10. Genesis GV60. The Genesis GV60 launched with genuine promise. A dedicated luxury EV from Hyundai's premium brand, starting at around $64,000, with striking design and impressive technology. It's now lost 49% of its value, $31,000, gone. But the financial loss isn't even the most alarming part. The quality record is. One documented 3-year owner catalogued 10 major system failures on his GV60. Not minor inconveniences, but significant malfunctions. Every single one remained unresolved after multiple dealership visits. The driver's display randomly shuts off in cold weather, leaving the driver with no speedometer information. Genesis issued recalls across their lineup to address this exact safety defect, but somehow, inexplicably, excluded the GV60. Then there is the phantom emergency braking. Without warning, without obstacle, without any discernible reason. The car slams the brakes, in intersections, during turns, while cross-traffic is approaching. This is not a software quirk. This is a safety emergency. One owner spent nearly 100 days across 2 years driving loaner vehicles, while dealerships repeatedly told him no issues found. On a $64,000 vehicle, no issues found. Beautiful engineering, fatal execution, and a resale market that has made its verdict very clear. Number 9. Tesla Cybertruck. Demand is so far off the hook you can't even see the hook. That was Elon Musk in July 2023, talking about the Cybertruck. Fast forward to 2026. The Cybertruck has lost 50% of its value in under 2 years. Over 1 million people reserved spots. Elon called it Tesla's best product ever. Reality delivered something quite different. The design, stainless steel, angular, polarizing, alienated the actual truck buyers that would need to sustain long-term demand. Contractors, ranchers, construction workers, people who use trucks as tools. The Cybertruck's aesthetic is science fiction. Working professionals needed function. Early speculators who flipped Cybertrucks for huge premiums in late 2023 lit the fuse on a depreciation bomb. Tesla then ramped production aggressively, creating months of inventory backlog that nobody wanted. Quality problems surfaced within weeks of launch. Panels rusted, parts failed. Owners documented problems faster than Tesla's PR team could respond. When Tesla began offering rebates and discounts on brand new Cybertrucks to clear inventory, used values didn't decline. They fell off a cliff. The Cybertruck is a genuinely interesting vehicle in many ways. It is also one of the most catastrophic new vehicle investments of the past decade. Number 8. Toyota bZ4X. This entry will genuinely surprise you, because the brand that built its entire identity on reliability and resale value has a car on this list. The Toyota bZ4X loses 50% of its value from an original price of around $43,000. Over $21,000 gone. Toyota's first serious EV attempt launched with one of the most alarming safety recalls in recent memory. Every single vehicle was recalled because the wheels could detach while driving. Not a software glitch, not a minor adjustment. The wheels could come off while you were moving. That single recall destroyed buyer confidence before the car ever had a chance to establish a reputation. The technology further compounded the problem. While rivals Hyundai and Kia introduced 350 kilowatt fast charging capability, the bZ4X tops out at 100 to 150 kilowatts. Yesterday's technology at tomorrow's prices. Range maxes out at 228 miles. Mediocre by current standards. The regenerative braking system has been documented to fail, causing the car to lurch forward unexpectedly during what should be deceleration. Toyota can build extraordinary cars. The bZ4X proved they can also stumble just as spectacularly as anyone else when the foundation isn't right. Number 7. Nissan Ariya. The Nissan Ariya is a victim of timing as much as anything else. It launched at the worst possible moment for an imported EV, right as tariffs hit the market and as the federal EV tax credit structure shifted dramatically. The result? 54% value collapse from $50,381. $27,000 erased. The real killing blow came in rapid succession. Nissan slashed prices on new 2025 Ariya models to stimulate demand, which instantly destroyed the equity of every 2024 buyer overnight. People who had bought months earlier were suddenly underwater on their loans with no warning. Then came the announcement that ended it entirely. Nissan discontinued the Ariya in America for 2026. No future production. No long-term parts support. No dealer investment in a dead model. Real transaction data tells the complete story. An Ariya that sold for $48,500, new lists for $22,300 after 1 year. Not 2 years. 1 year. 54% of its value, gone in 12 months. Orphaned cars with no manufacturer support, no brand investment, and no future have only one direction to travel: down. Number 6. Audi RS e-tron GT. Take a breath for this one. The Audi RS e-tron GT launched at $168,295. That's not a typo. It's a six-figure electric performance car positioned to compete with the Porsche Taycan. It has lost 53% of its value in the luxury EV market. That's an $89,000 loss on a single vehicle in under 2 years. For $89,000, you could buy a brand new BMW M3 Competition, a car that will hold its value significantly better and provide comparable or superior performance enjoyment for years. Here's the structural problem. The RS e-tron GT couldn't escape. It shares its fundamental platform with the Porsche Taycan. The Taycan is the more desirable car. Better performance reputation, stronger brand cachet in the luxury EV space, and meaningfully better resale values. So the question facing every potential Audi e-tron buyer was, why am I paying Taycan money for the less desirable version? The answer for most buyers was, I'm not. Audi's broader EV lineup has been a costly disappointment. The e-tron SUV underperformed, the Q4 e-tron failed to excite, and buyer confidence in Audi's electric direction has genuinely eroded. That uncertainty crushes resale values across the entire range. $89,000. Let that number sit with you. Number 5. Jaguar I-Pace. The Jaguar I-Pace deserves a complicated kind of credit. It was among the first true luxury electric SUVs. It arrived before Tesla had dominant market share. It took a genuine risk, and it's now lost 72% of its value, over $53,000 from its original price, making it one of the worst depreciating vehicles in the iSeeCars database, covering over 950,000 used car transactions. Jaguar officially discontinued the I-Pace. The 2024 model was the last. And in the automotive world, there is almost nothing more damaging to resale value than discontinuation. No future parts investment, no dealer training, no manufacturer support. Just thousands of orphaned owners watching their cars bleed value with no flaw in sight. The technology tells the rest of the story. The I-Pace charges at a maximum of 100 kilowatts. The current standard among competitive EVs is 250 kilowatts and climbing. What takes a modern competitor 20 minutes to accomplish at a fast charger requires 45 minutes in the I-Pace. That charging disadvantage alone makes it harder to sell to buyers who understand what they're looking at. Jaguar pioneered the luxury electric SUV segment. The market thanked them by making their pioneer worthless. Number 5. Jaguar I-Pace. The Jaguar I-Pace deserves a complicated kind of credit. It was among the first true luxury electric SUVs. It arrived before Tesla had dominant market share. It took a genuine risk, and it's now lost 72% of its value, over $53,000 from its original price, making it one of the worst depreciating vehicles in the iSeeCars database, covering over 950,000 used car transactions. Jaguar officially discontinued the I-Pace. The 2024 model was the last. And in the automotive world, there is almost nothing more damaging to resale value than discontinuation. No future parts investment, no dealer training, no manufacturer support. Just thousands of orphaned owners watching their cars bleed value with no flaw in sight. The technology tells the rest of the story. The I-Pace charges at a maximum of 100 kilowatts. The current standard among competitive EVs is 250 kilowatts and climbing. What takes a modern competitor 20 minutes to accomplish at a fast charger requires 45 minutes in the I-Pace. That charging disadvantage alone makes it harder to sell to buyers who understand what they're looking at. Jaguar pioneered the luxury electric SUV segment. The market thanked them by making their pioneer worthless. Number 4. Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV. Mercedes-Benz called the EQS SUV the electric S-Class, the pinnacle of electric luxury. Starting at over $108,000, it promised everything the S-Class stands for: prestige, technology, and refinement, in an all-electric SUV format. Reviewers called it the driving egg. It has shed 61% of its value. Low mileage 2022 to 2023 examples that stick it above $125,000 are trading on the used market around $60,000. That's a $65,000 loss in roughly 2 years. That is not depreciation. That is financial obliteration. The aerodynamic egg design that gives it maximum range also removed the road presence and visual authority that S-Class buyers expect. Traditional Mercedes customers looked at it and bought the GLS instead. But the most terrifying element of EQS SUV ownership isn't the initial loss. It's the hidden ongoing cost. The vehicle weighs over 5,600 pounds. That weight destroys tires. Owners are replacing 21-inch tires every 15,000 to 20,000 miles. At $1,200 to $1,500 per set, that's a recurring expense that terrifies used car buyers. And for good reason. The MBUX infotainment system, despite its impressive visuals, freezes and crashes regularly, requiring resets. The touch-sensitive controls frustrate daily. And the third row in a vehicle at this price is cramped and poorly finished. For $108,000, buyers expected the best vehicle Mercedes had ever made. Instead, they got the fastest depreciating luxury vehicle in the segment. Number 3. Maserati Levante. We are now in the territory of genuine financial catastrophe. The Maserati Levante has experienced 70% value destruction from original prices between $92,000 and $130,000. Financed buyers went underwater the moment they signed. Some lost $91,000 in value before their first major service. But here's what makes the Levante uniquely punishing. It's not just the depreciation. It's the entire cost of ownership stack that Maserati owners face. Insurance averages $6,000 annually. Fuel costs run around $2,500 per year at normal mileage. An oil change costs $500. Brake jobs run $3,000 or more. And Maserati consistently ranks at or near last in reliability surveys, meaning those repair bills come frequently, not occasionally. Maserati eliminated the Levante entirely. The 2024 model was the final year. Dead models have dead resale values. 5-year ownership data shows the Levante losing 74% of its value, with the most catastrophic losses occurring in years 1 and 2. The Levante carries a Ferrari-derived engine. It belongs in the same showroom tier as Porsche and Bentley in terms of aspiration. Its resale value has landed somewhere near economy car territory. For anyone who financed a Levante, the monthly payment on a car worth a third of its original value is a uniquely brutal form of financial regret. Number 2. Toyota Mirai. Number 2 on the list carries an irony that is almost too painful to describe. Because the Toyota Mirai is made by Toyota, the company that practically invented automotive reliability. the brand whose vehicles are famous for holding value across decades. The Mirai has lost 77% of its value from an original price of around $64,000. Used examples now list for $7,000 to $10,000. Some dealers offered $1,000 trade-in values. Others refused Mirai trade-ins entirely. How does this happen to a Toyota? The answer is hydrogen infrastructure, or the complete and catastrophic collapse of it. Shell permanently closed its California hydrogen stations in February 2024. This eliminated significant refueling capacity in the only American state where Mirais were sold in meaningful numbers. Hydrogen fuel pricing tripled, from $13 per kilogram in 2022 to $36 by 2024. A full tank of hydrogen now costs approximately $180. Triple the per-mile expense of gasoline. Owners document driving 22 miles out of their way and spending 2 to 3 hours just to refuel. Stations malfunction regularly. Pumps freeze onto vehicles, locking them in place for hours. Hydrogen supply runs out entirely for days at a time. Owners filed class action lawsuits against Toyota, claiming the company misrepresented the state of hydrogen infrastructure when selling the vehicle. One owner put it bluntly, "Not in my wildest nightmares would I expect purchasing from giant Toyota to turn out so terrible." A car that cannot reliably refuel is, by definition, worthless. The used market agrees completely. Number 1. Fisker Ocean. And here we are, the single greatest automotive depreciation disaster of the modern era. The Fisker Ocean. Models that sold between $41,000 and $71,437 when new are now listed for $8,000 to $20,000 on the used market, if they can be sold at all. The flagship Ocean 1, which sold for $71,437, has been documented selling at under $20,000 with fewer than 4,000 miles on the odometer. That is less than a third of its original value in under 2 years. But the financial loss is almost secondary to what these owners are actually living through. Fisker Inc. filed for bankruptcy in June 2024. The Delaware Bankruptcy Court approved liquidation plans in October 2024. The company that made 11,000 Ocean SUVs and dissolved with over $1 billion in debts simply ceased to exist as a functioning automaker. Modern vehicles are software-defined machines. They require cloud servers for over-the-air updates, connected features, remote access, and essential safety recalls. Without Fisker maintaining those servers, Oceans began losing functionality piece by piece. Key fobs stopped reliably unlocking vehicles. Advanced driver assistance systems ceased operating. The signature rotating center screen randomly froze or blacked out. A government-mandated software recall, fixes required by the NHTSA, was attempted through a third party, and approximately 10% of vehicles were completely bricked during the update process, permanently disabled. A grassroots group called the Fisker Owners Association formed just to fight for basic functionality, negotiating parts access, coordinating with anyone who would listen, trying to keep their $70,000 investments from becoming permanent lawn decorations. The language owners use on forums is not hyperbole. Bricks on wheels. American Lease purchased Fisker's entire remaining unsold inventory and the cloud infrastructure, paying roughly $13,900 per vehicle for cars that originally listed for $40,000 to $70,000. That single transaction tells you everything you need to know about what the market believes these vehicles are worth. The Fisker Ocean is not just the worst depreciating car of 2026. It is one of the most catastrophic individual vehicle investments in automotive history. A cautionary tale about startup risk, software dependency, and what happens when the company behind your car's operating system simply disappears. Here's the pattern behind everything you just saw. The worst depreciation on this list hits 3 categories hardest: EV startups with shaky finances, luxury electric vehicles at inflated prices, and discontinued models with no future support. Every single vehicle on this list fits one or more of those categories. And the market has made something very clear in 2026. EVs as a group still depreciate nearly double the rate of conventional vehicles in the first 2 years. The gap is narrowing for proven brands like Toyota and Honda in the hybrid space. But for luxury EVs and startup brands, it remains brutal. So what does this mean for you? Before you sign anything, ask 3 questions. 1. Is this company going to exist in 5 years? 2. Is this technology going to be competitive in 3 years? 3. Has this specific model earned a reliability track record, or am I buying the promise? If you can't answer all 3 with confidence, walk away. That's how you protect yourself. That's how you stay on the right side of this. If this video saved you from making a $40,000 mistake, hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people find this before they sign. Subscribe so you catch every breakdown we do. And drop a comment telling me which car on this list shocked you the most. I'll see you in the next one.